Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in for yet another episode of Rice Rewind. And I'm going to be continuing with my McAfee Rice Rewind week, releasing all 7 interviews. And today we're going to be putting out interview number 6. This took place on April 28th, 2020. And what was really interesting about this interview, it was my 6th interview with John, but we were also joined by Adam Kokesh. And it was my 6th interview with Adam. And how this came about was because Adam and John were both running for president with the Libertarian Party. I had made the suggestion numerous times for them to team up. And ultimately, that's what they did. And this is the first and only interview to feature them together. At the time, John was still on the run, and he was still off grid. How's quarantine life treating you?
Like shit, I'm bored.
It kind of sucks. You can only do so much.
The most sucky thing is it's unnecessary.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I mean, it seems like the data's coming out to say that this isn't really.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
No, of course it's not as bad. I listen, from day one, I spent the past month analyzing numbers. Now, you can't trust numbers, so I cross-reference everything. When I want to get coronavirus deaths, I look at WHO, Johns Hopkins, and the country, like in Japan, the Japan National Statistics Bureau. Okay. If they jive, then okay. That's pretty much a decent number. It's nothing. The flu has, 200,000 people in 5 months. The flu kills 630,000 people every year. More people die from falling off of ladders than have been killed by the coronavirus. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I know. There's so much more behind it, man. I mean, this is a completely different conversation.
What's behind it is government's grab for power. People
you got
are all the governments in collusion? I go, of course not.
The digital ID is what scares me the most.
You show me a single government. They're not always trying to increase their power over the people. So, of course, they all took advantage of this media hysteria. Well, that's a good opportunity. Let's
hey, Adam.
Hey,
John's time is kind of limited.
Yeah, sure. I've got 20 minutes left, Adam. I'm sorry.
Hey, if you want to do this in like 2 parts, and I'll just listen in mostly for the first 20 minutes, we can do it that way.
I need to talk to you, my friend, if you don't mind.
Oh,
yeah, we can just gel this out, man. We'll just go ahead and start going right now. Do a quick 3 count, and we'll jump into it.
Listen, Rice Crispo is a flexible dude, so why don't you record? He's recording now. I need to chat with Adam for about 5 minutes. Keep recording. If you want to jump in, please do so, sir. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Let's do it.
Adam. Adam, we need to be on every debate together, you and I. All right?
Yes.
When is the next fucking debate scheduled?
I'd have to check my calendar. I don't know what's scheduled right now.
Is it within a few days or weeks?
Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone while we're talking here. But if
I can't help you myself. Although Janice is here, Miss Janice, I'm going to need your help. Okay.
Of course,
she's
you
my
need
scheduler.
Janice.
Well, listen. Hang on. Today I've got 4 interviews. Some days I do 5. I can't keep track of that shit.
Okay, next Wednesday, the 6th, is Lions of Liberty POTUS debate, and then on Saturday the 9th is the Missouri virtual LP debate.
Can you get me into the Lions debate, sir? If any way.
I think so. Yeah, and I think we should have any time that I'm in a debate that you're left out of, to have either.
And the same thing. Although let me tell you, my profile within the Libertarian Party is so not low. It's so disliked that the party heads do not want me in a debate. Why? I'm disruptive, as you well know, and so are you, my friend.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, John, I would just caution you to not be ascribing the motivations of conspiracy to the entire organization when it might be the fuckery of one or two individuals that are.
No. Listen, I don't think I've ever said conspiracy. Have I? All I said was, here are the things that happened. I was removed from the Libertarian website.
That is suspicious.
Pardon?
That part is really suspicious, and I.
Well, you know, plus I've had 4 of my staff trying to get me back on, and it hasn't happened. But that doesn't really matter. I'm just saying it's an indication.
I think there are lots of little conspiracies in the Libertarian Party, though.
But that's okay. I've never said conspiracy. I'm just saying it appears to me that I'm not liked. All right, that's all. So in any case, sir, so no one ever informs me of anything upcoming. I've got to have people dig. No one ever replies to any of my staff's requests or emails. I'm serious. I am serious. Yeah. We had 4 people try to get me put back on the Libertarian web. They said, oh, yes, we'll do it. It's been 2 weeks and it hasn't happened. I was replaced by Judge, what's his name? Okay.
Oh, geez, yeah. So, hey, about that, it's no, not about that. No, about the coordination. If you want Janice to have access to my Google Calendar and see everything that I'm doing, I have no problem with that.
I would appreciate that. Hey, Janice. Yeah. Adam is going to give you access to his Google Calendar. Can you contact him and organize that so that I don't miss any? I've missed all the debates except one because every time we've requested information on them, they've never replied.
And by the way,
done is, yes.
That last debate that you were in with me, that was a big panel, and we got to work together pretty well in that. I came out dominating the polls. I just posted it on social. Like it works really well. Like over the top.
Perfect. I don't care whether I'm in the polls or not. What I care about is, can I speak in the debates, because I have something to say. All right. So
indeed. And so for Janice, when she's looking at the calendar, if Janice, if you can hear me, if you just want to rely on Marcus more, our press secretary.
Janice, can you come here, baby? And she's coming right here.
You guys get the inside look at everything here.
This is how the sausage
I'm
is
keeping
made.
it. This is
Hi, Janice. Great to see you.
How are you?
Yeah,
good to see you too.
Excellent. Yourself? Enjoying your hideout?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It's like you guys were on lockdown before it was cool.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, we were. I want to tell you now, it's a serious lockdown.
Trendsetters.
Yeah. So yeah, Janice, if you just send me an email reminder, and I will add you to my Google account, which is my everything calendar for scheduling. And if you ever
there's a debate coming on Wednesday, baby.
Okay.
Next Wednesday.
I want to be in it next Wednesday. No, not this coming Wednesday. Next week.
Wednesday the 6th. And Saturday the 9th.
Okay. Okay, and Saturday the 9th.
Okay.
I need to be in both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2 things about this in terms of how I want this working relationship to go between John and I is, Janice, I want you to be able to rely on my press secretary, Marcus Pulis, who coordinates all the scheduling and booking for debates and things like that.
Perfect.
And if you reach out, so the first thing would be, you see this debate happening on Saturday and on Wednesday, next Wednesday and Saturday, you reach out to Marcus and say, Marcus, how did Adam get in this? How do we get John in this? And if he tells you and you do it and John doesn't get accepted, then we turn up the heat on social media on him.
Yeah, perfect.
And you guys can be working with my social media guy, Scotty, who's been in some of those conversations, or just, Twitter messaging me directly like, hey, by the way, they officially rejected John in this debate. Share this, retweet this. Like,
no, the oddest thing is, honest to God, the day I was removed was the day that the judge replaced my name.
Yeah. So, by the way, John, one of your campaign strategy ideas that I thought had some merit is that while you are campaigning outside of the country, have people in the U.S. wearing paper face masks. With your face, right? And pretend to be animate a speech, pretend to be giving a speech, but it's your audio.
Yes, right. Like we tried doing that. That is technically difficult, Adam. What happens is we tried it in Times Square 4 times. where we had people in Times Square wearing the mask. It was difficult to coordinate all this shit. So technically, you know, maybe in 2024, but
Well, no. So I was. Well, what I was gonna do is wear the mask myself to get you in the debates. Like, it just
all right,
not the
Can you
whole
get in touch
time.
with Rob
but-
Loja? Okay, Rob Loja can send you one. All right.
But
All right,
just
all right,
a little
cool.
bit.
So-
Okay.
So yeah, I'll get you my mailing address really easy. It'd be awesome to have, and I wouldn't wear it the whole time. It'd be a little goofy,
Of
but I
course
could
not.
say, I
Of
could
course
like in
not.
my opener or closer or work
Of
it
course
into
not.
one answer and be like,
Say
by
my
the way,
you could say my vice presidential candidate, John McAfee.
has
Here we go.
something to say. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right.
I think now I've like, side note, if you have any other ideas to help stand out in the debates, I think this is great. I think this is a lot of fun. One of the things that I want to do, like when we're doing debates, is like, hey, well, I'm here in my studio, and my studio is at the Garden of Freedom. And by the way, aside from John McAfee, I'm the only other candidate in this race who's living it, who's living freedom. Like, look at this. You know, here are my.
Yeah, right. You might mention it.
house
One of
and
us.
my
One of
shop
us.
and-
You might
I
mention
love
it.
it.
One of us just got out of jail in the Dominican Republic and is in hiding. That's how free we really are, Adam. All right, baby, I got it.
Yes, your
Okay.
interview.
I know. All right, I'm sorry. Mr. Rice Crypto, let's begin.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
so
dude, no, I appreciate, man. I just appreciate that inside glimpse, man. I mean, we've all become friends over the past couple years.
Yeah.
You know, what's really interesting about this is, you know, this is the first official joint interview between John McAfee and Adam Kokesh, now united as Team in the Fed. And I want to let these guys talk about this, but what's really special about this for me as an independent media person, as a journalist, is this is my 6th interview with both you guys. I don't know if you know that. So I get my 6th interview with both of you together. And I did suggest last year, if you don't remember, I did suggest to both of you guys should be teaming up and running for president.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, things were so chaotic last year. You know, Adam was chasing pussy, and we were being chased by the CIA. So, you know,
Found
we.
I caught one.
You caught one. And
I
you
was-
get married soon.
I was
Congratulations
chasing-
on that.
I was
When?
chasing
And
them all over
congratulations.
the place, and I caught one. Yeah, we're getting married Friday.
Holy
In
First, the
Florida.
fuck!
1st of May, right?
Holy fuck,
Yeah.
Adam! Congratulations!
Yeah,
Thank you.
congratulations.
Congratulations! I hope she's not black.
This is such an awesome time for me, man. I really
Well,
appreciate
because let me tell you something. I have lived with. I'm 74. More women than I can count. I want to promise you, black women own the goddamn house. Now, once they're out of the house, they acknowledge you own the world, but you get your ass home, it's goddamn her house. And so, and I mean that. All right. Just saying, Adam.
Well, John, I know your time's a little bit limited. You want to go ahead and just kind of take over and talk about what's going on with you teaming up with Adam, and then I know you're going to have to bounce out, and then me and Adam will talk a little bit longer after that.
Well, first of all, you know me. I'm very.
You're John
I have
McAfee.
an odd sense of humor, if nothing else. It occurred to me that the libertarian bylaws do not prevent a person from running both for president and for vice president. And in an ideal world, for example, Adam would be nominated both for president and vice president. That way, I mean, he could pardon himself if the vice president did something wrong. So, in any case,
That's
I
the
chose
strategy.
to run for. I chose to run for. Quite honestly, I in humor and in jest, approached the Vermin Supreme campaign to ask if I could be Vermin's vice president. Now, I knew I'd be called, you know, because he's very happy with his time traveling vice president candidate as it is. I mean, they've been visiting the future to see who won and shit like this. So I don't blame him for turning me down. But in all reality, I believe of all the libertarian candidates, Adam and I are the only ones that walk the fucking walk. I mean, you know, I've paid over $50 million in taxes and haven't received $50 million in services. And 10 years ago, because we all say taxation is theft, I go, well, fuck me if it's theft, I ain't paying it. And I sent the IRS 10 years ago a letter in every year since saying, I'm not filing, I'm not paying, you know where I live. For 8 years, they left me alone until I started speaking on international stages about, you don't want to pay taxes? Use privacy coins and distributed exchanges. You will never have to pay another dime. Well, that's when, things got hot. The SEC, first of all, I was at the time the CEO of MGT, a New York traded public company with a market cap of 800 million, filed a subpoena against the company right after I was in China saying, you want to pay taxes? Here's how. I came home and got a subpoena, not me, the company. Now, the subpoena was about a past stockholder 6 years ago. That was all. Now, according to SEC rules, however, if you get a subpoena, you have to say, I've been subpoenaed. You may not say why. Okay, so we had to announce it. The following day, the New York Stock Exchange delisted us. That's what they do. You get a subpoena from the FCC, they delisted. We don't want to be involved. The stock went from 800 million valuation to 3 million in 24 hours.
Wow.
I had to resign. The company went bankrupt. In January of last year, the IRS convened a grand jury to charge me with tax fraud. Now, the only thing I've done is not file taxes. And tax fraud means that I have lied on a tax form. I haven't filed the goddamn forms. I could not possibly have lied. And in fact, not filing is not against the law. Now, they can come and take everything you own. And then you've got to go to court and get it back. But it's not a crime. Nevertheless, that's what happened. Janice and I, my staff and 4 dogs, left the country. January the 18th, took our yacht, then went to the Bahamas, and it's been a fucking nightmare since. But Adam, I know Adam, you've probably been in jail more than me in terms of times. I'm pretty sure I've got you in terms of amount of time in jail.
Yep.
No question.
It's an interesting comparison.
Yeah, and we should talk about it. I've only been jailed a dozen or 15 times. So Adam, I think it's sort of a weekly occurrence.
Yeah, it is.
But my jail terms have been sometimes substantial. So, but nothing more than weed or refusing to acknowledge the ownership of my body or mind by some other government. Seriously, that's all. So anyway, Adam walks the walk. I think I walk the walk. I certainly try.
Oh yeah.
Of all the Libertarian candidates, I think only Adam and I actually live what we believe. Who else could I truly?
Or the only ones who really believe what we say.
Well, it's the same thing, Adam. If you believe what you say, you're going to do what you say.
But you guys keep it real, and that's what people appreciate about both you guys, man.
Listen, no, we don't. I mean, I don't. And here's why. I mean, there's certain things I can't keep real, like where I am. I mean, you have no fucking idea how much dense information I put out. Photographs of Janice and I in places where we haven't been for 6 months. Hey, we were just in Munich last week, right? People go, what's your time? What is your time zone?
Oh, yeah, you guys won't even tell me.
We add it or subtract. No, we'll tell you, but we add or subtract 3 or 4 hours. We never tell you the exact time zone. Why? Listen, this is information designed to keep Janice and I out of jail and alive. Now, that I think is a valid, I'm sorry, people go, there's no reason to lie. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to lie about where I live. I'm just going to do it. But in terms of what I believe, in terms of who I am, in terms of what Janice's and my relationship is, and our relationship to the world and world governments, fuck no. I tell the truth, and I fucking act the truth, and I know Adam does too. So you find a better team in the Libertarian Party.
I love it, dude. Team in the Fed, and it makes so much sense that you guys are together. I like it. Hashtag keep it real.
That's good.
I mean, John, I understand that you can't be completely transparent with your location and such, but other than that, you do keep it real. I mean, you're about one of the realest people I know.
And I tell you what, I get trashed for it. I really do. Because first of all, sheep do not like reality. Reality is kind of scary. Okay. And governments hate reality if that reality is a threat. I promise you, every piece of reality that I spew out regarding governments is a threat. And now that listen, we've been in hiding for almost 9 months now. No. And they've tried electronically to locate us. Why? Because I keep track of all the hacking attempts to peel back the layers of our protection. They peeled it back as far as Amsterdam. We're not within 2,000 miles of Amsterdam, but they have not located us. Now, do you know the advantage that gives me? I can say what I've been saying on my Twitter account about the COVID virus. How Governor Cuomo was padding the fucking numbers. Think about it. In New York, they have 250 times the death rate of Tokyo. Everybody is jam-packed together, and Tokyo has never been on lockdown. So I published that. I got 53,000 likes on it, and over 200 attempts to peel back our location further than Amsterdam. Why? Because we can tell. In other words, every time there's an attack, we know. God damn it, it's a very trivial thing to identify.
I mean, plus
so
you're the leading expert in cybersecurity. So
if I don't want to be found, I'm going to be found. Now they can and do monitor my every word, my every image. I can't stop that. There's no technological way to do it. You can't encrypt it because they're going to break it. You can't do anything with it. But my location, I have signal. First of all, this room, I don't know if you can see it behind me.
It's a Faraday cage room. You just put
it's a fucking Faraday cage. No signal can enter, no signal can leave. We have location jammers everywhere because my location is so you can plant whatever software you want on my devices. And we don't have any cell phones. We can't have cell phones. If we had one, we would be picked up in 10 minutes. So that's one of the unfortunate things. We can't have a cell phone, but who cares? I can talk to you and see you over the internet. But I'm living in a Faraday cage. No signal can enter or leave. We have signal jammers. I promise you, no one will find me. Now, since you can't find me, do you understand the freedom that gives me? I can poke any fucking government in this world with immunity. That's power. It doesn't feel like it, I promise you, because we can't go anywhere without disguising ourselves, without preparation, without hiding when we get there. And we can't have phones. We can't tell our relatives, not our children, our family, our mothers. I don't have a mother, but Janice does. Where we are, not our closest friends. We can't receive packages because we can't give anybody our address. I mean, and we can't have a bank account, obviously. We can't have a credit card, obviously. If we had a credit card, wherever we used it, suddenly the CIA would be there.
Right.
So
Anthony, and hold on, I gotta interrupt. Anthony, did you hear that? John McAfee bombshell dropped on your show. This is like verifying a lot of my conspiracy theories about John McAfee. He doesn't have a mother. Did you hear that? He was created in a laboratory. I knew it. Like I'm not surprised. But John, I did want to interrupt with a serious question to say that I understand how you have that unique freedom being in hiding the way that you are now. But we see on Facebook right now really blatant censorship of anything challenging the coronavirus narrative.
Yes.
I was at the protest in Phoenix last Monday. I don't know if you saw the picture of me with the Free Hugs t-shirt, running, trying to hug the cop, right? My fiance posted a couple videos from that, and they were taken down just for being a coronavirus protest, showing people not practicing appropriate social distancing. So while you can broadcast safely, how do you overcome the social media censorship?
Well, listen, Twitter has taken down 23 of my tweets within minutes of posting it. However, I'm on Rice Crispo. I get to say whatever the fuck I want. They're going to take down him. And every one of the 4 podcasters I talk to every fucking day of my life. No, this is why I'm talking. Right? Please take no offense to this, Mr. Crypto. However, that's why I'm talking to you. Because take down my Twitter account, I'm not going to flying fuck. Who cares? I still get my voice out. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's why I want to give you a platform for your voice, man.
And you've done well. Thank you, my friend.
So, John, I've come to the same conclusion in a lot of what I do, that especially with the presidential campaign, it allows me to go and talk to people I would never talk to just doing my own show. But I've also seen, and I don't know if Anthony's experienced this or anybody else you've interviewed with, but I've had people tell me, hey, man, normally I get 3,000 or 4,000 views per video. I put up the video with my interview of you, and it only got 100 views. What's going on here? And I'm like, well, I hope it doesn't screw up your channel.
With me, it's the opposite, but only because people are looking for reasons to hate me. Do you understand?
Well, you still have
McAfee, I hate that motherfucker. If I can just get 3 seconds of something he says that makes him look like a fucking idiot, I'm going to watch it. All right? So whatever numbers you get, Mr. Crypto, from mine, you have to divide it by 99 to get a real fucking viewer, okay?
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I deal with a lot of censorship and shadow banning, and this was something that Adam was dealing with back like in 2012. So, I mean, Adam has definitely made my channel very algo unfriendly, and I don't have a problem with that at all. I have no problem with that because I'm building my channel organically. I'm getting quality people, and eventually it's all going to catch up, and the world will start to see like what is up.
Of course.
So
here's the problem. See, truth spreads very slowly. Lies spread rapidly. But truth, well, when it comes out, it lasts forever. See, this is why you should not give a flying fuck what people think about what you say and do. Because if you're living, acting, and telling the truth, in the long run, that will be there forever. And a lie will be buried with time. I'm 74, I know. This is true. I have seen it over and over and fucking over. Oh, by the way, Adam, my language is unfortunately not as clean as yours.
Oh, Adam can go off. So I mean,
I understand that.
He reserves himself very well.
Our platforms, while in spirit, are identical. I mean, I will say things like it just doesn't fucking matter who the president is.
I'm more polite than John, but I'll get over it with age too.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. When you're dealing with a fucking serious issue, politeness plays no part. I'm sorry. You know, if you ever read Sun Tzu's Art of War, ain't no politeness there. It's simply, are you going to survive or are you not? Are you going to leave, and when you leave this world, it a better place for your children and grandchildren, or are you not? I mean, it's pretty simple. Ain't no use for politeness in war. And if you don't think we're in war, people, well, wake the fuck up, because we are.
Well, I mean, even Donald Trump has been saying that we are in war, you know. So I mean, it's a fact.
But his war is the war against the goddamn virus. The real war is the war against the government. Please.
The war against him.
Yeah. Well, not him personally. Listen, I wish it were that simple. I really wish it were that simple. How simple would that be? Who's the problem? Well, let's get rid of the motherfucker.
It's a one bullet problem.
Well, yeah, but let's not say that, please. You don't want to say that in the same room with me, because you will have to be. We'll have to find another goddamn place for you to sleep over here, all right? If they come after you, Adam.
There's one thing that I am genuinely competing with John on, where he is also way ahead of me, and that is having converted NSA agents who are listening to this conversation. You know, they have to replace this whole team every week because they're like, boss, I think John's onto something here. I kind of want to quit my job. You know, they take him off the McAfee team.
Shout out to the government.
I wish that actually happened. But no, See, I wish Donald Trump had the power to actually make a difference, but no. He's as much between a rock and a hard place as anybody else. Can you imagine at the beginning of this crisis? Because if you watch it, one day, the very beginning, Donald Trump says, and very, very sincerely, I don't think this is a big problem. The very next day, a totally different tune. What happened? The Republican leadership said, listen, it ain't just your job, asshole. It's 260 other motherfucking congressmen and senators in this party and the 200 major goddamn donors. Now, if you don't change your fucking tune, just imagine what we are going to do to you. No, please God, that's how it works.
Oh,
And
no,
we
I
get to-
have no, yeah. I have no doubt that to a certain degree, Trump was bullied or pushed into doing this, and he fell for it. And you just made me think of a whole other angle here that I hadn't considered before, as opposed to what is the conspiracy here? Because it's such a mess. You know, the fact that different governments have such a patchwork of responses suggests to me there's not a single global conspiracy, and that they can do no more in the long run than bully us into hazmat suits. Okay, fine. But what you just made me think of here, what makes a lot more sense in explaining the coronaphobia crisis, is that it's an anti-Trump conspiracy, that they set him up and he fell for it. The liberal media,
please?
the Democrat
Yes.
politicians, and I'm not defending Trump. I'm saying that this reduces it to a partisan fight, that it's people who don't want Trump to have that power just fucking with him, going, we're going to make you look, you're going to take the correct response of downplaying it. We're going to bully you into feeding into it. You're going to fall for it so bad. You're going to brag about all the things that you did to shut down the economy to protect us from coronavirus. And then we're going to pull the rug out from underneath you afterwards. And it's going to come out anyway, because we're going to see that the coronavirus is no excuse for this.
I'm a statistician and a mathematician. That's got my training. Not a bad one. So I just look at numbers. I go on to WHO, I go on to John Hopkins, and I go on to the various sources of information in the various governments. One of the oddities is that New York City, run by a hardcore Democrat, had 11,000 deaths out of 8 million population. The top 10 largest cities in the world, Tokyo, the largest, Sao Paulo, Mumbai, New Delhi, on and on, 10 of them. You take all of the deaths in the total population, the death rate from coronavirus in New York City is 200 times greater than the world average for the world's largest cities. Well, New York is densely populated. Have you ever been to fucking New Delhi? No. Well, okay. New York, I actually had one guy go, well, New Yorkers, all the poor people. I go, have you ever been to Mumbai? All right. Where the average wage is $2 a day? No. So now 200 times? Please, God, can somebody explain that? Well, the explanation is this. The federal government gives $39,000 per diagnosed coronavirus patient that goes on a respirator. If they don't go on a respirator, you only get $13,000 for diagnosed. And the CDC put out guidelines saying you do not have to test all patients, or you do not have to determine the true cause of death if your experience and knowledge determines that it was coronavirus, then it is coronavirus. So of course, I mean, can you imagine 11,000 times 39,000? It's a $500 million fucking dollars for New York City. Now, you tell me who's not motivated to do something. So I follow the goddamn numbers and the money. What else is suspicious? Take the whole country of America and then take the entire population of the world. 200,000 deaths worldwide, 7.8 billion fucking people. How many people died in America of 328 million? 54 fucking thousand, 8 times the world average. And the world average includes countries with no medical care whatsoever. Now, you explain this to me. Do you not understand? The motivation is clear. Number one, if we make this a horror and Trump was late to do something, well, late to do something, what the fuck does that mean? Japan never did anything. They have 300 deaths in a population of 123 million fucking people. A million fucking people. No, I mean, sorry, 121 million fucking people. So the U.S. total has a death rate 1,000 times greater than Japan's. And Japan never went on lockdown and got the virus at the same fucking time. So if you deal just with facts, now you go, well, the numbers are wrong, are they? My numbers come from the World Health Organization, from Johns Hopkins, and from, in this case, the Japan National Statistical Center. So please, and they all coincided. So people, this is a power play in America by the Democrats, in other countries by whoever's in power to get more power over the people. Has anybody looked at this $2 trillion fucking bailout?
It's crazy.
90%. Well, 90% of it was new laws. Among them was the FBI may now, in a state of emergency, now who's to define that? In a state of emergency, may detain anyone without a court order indefinitely. That was the word, indefinitely. Now, if you don't see that obviated every single one of the rights given to us as people from the Constitution, then you need to read it again. But nobody bothers to read it. Oh, $2 trillion, looking at the feds printing $2 trillion. That's the thing. Fuck that. That's minor. What's major is all the changes in laws. And we know, people, once a law is enacted, it never goes away. Well, look at Homeland Security still here. Over 20 years after 9/11, 30 years actually. Will anything ever go? No, laws don't disappear. They just add up. We have given away our democracy for what? Safety. We're afraid. The media said you're going to die from this virus. It was horrible. So what do? We said, oh, save us. The government says, yes, we can save you, but go home, lock your fucking doors, and all will be fine. We did. We went home. Well, I wasn't there in America. I'm over here where if I leave, if I open a goddamn door and go outside, I'm arrested, charged with a felony. That's what it's like where I am. But no, that's what they all did. Went home, locked the doors. Not a single person except in the state of Wisconsin. God bless you, Wisconsin, when 50,000 people went to the streets. Well, what's wrong with the people of America? Here's what's wrong. Number one, you have forgotten how to use your own minds. You don't think for yourself anymore. The media uses words like horror, staggering numbers. Are they staggering? No, far less than the flu. Horror? Well, yes, they have images of hospitals overwhelmed. What hospitals? Thank God someone put out a meme going, we send in photos of hospitals in there.
Yep.
They're all fucking empty. No. And so we, like fools, because we fear, and we would rather believe that a powerful thing like a government has our best interest in heart and will save us. If you think any government on the face of this fucking planet has your best interest in heart, then please go back in your mother's basement and lock the door. We'll let you know when it's safe to come out.
It's crazy,
John,
man.
I appreciate your perspective on the statistics, but I don't think you're taking the threat seriously enough here. According to the CDC, there was a case just last week where there was a skydiver he jumped out of an airplane, his parachute didn't open, and right before he hit the ground, he died from coronavirus. I mean, this thing is out there.
I admit that happens, okay, but it's rare. It's rare, okay. I read in the press yesterday that the coronavirus caused a young woman's heart to burst. Okay. No, please God, look it up. I saw it. The people were passing it around. Oh my God, the coronavirus will cause your heart to burst. Well, hey, listen. Not in this universe where 1 and 1 is still 2. No, in the universe where 1 and 1 is 22, like in California. Well, maybe.
So John, I want to ask you, while I got you on this subject, I want to ask you one more really important question that I'm trying to answer.
We got a minute, guys, because like I'm trying to upgrade my account and I cannot upgrade it. I've been trying to upgrade it like for the past 10 minutes with my credit card.
Oh, shit.
Because I thought John had to end like 10 minutes ago.
I'm sorry. Listen, if I had a credit card, I'd give it to you.
Well, I'm trying to use my Cash App to update my Zoom, and for some reason, it's telling me that.
When did the recording stop?
Well, it's telling me we have 1 minute and 9 seconds left.
Listen, that's about all we have anyway. I'd say we say goodbye, tell each other we love each other, and come back another day. All right.
Well, I'd like to bring Adam back. Adam, if you're free, I'll call you back, and we'll get to set
sure,
back up.
let's do it. Yeah,
and unfortunately, I cannot do that myself. Not a problem, guys. All right, Adam, good to talk to you again. I think we're clear. Please, God, keep me in the fucking debates, all right? We are good for each other.
I'll do everything we can.
I promise you. And I promise you this, if it looks even remotely like you're going to win in the convention, I will throw every single one of my delegates your way. And because people will do, if they follow me, what I ask, I promise you. If they understand that if you don't do this, we'll split the vote and neither will win. If you support Adam, then I'll still be the VP.
Well,
and
John,
as the VP, I can say whatever I fucking want.
Thank you for your time, John. I really appreciate you, brother.
Now we're good.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
Adam, I'll call you here in just 1 second.
Hey.
Hey.
We're back. All right, that was fun.
Yeah, hey, well, first I want to say I apologize because John had said in the very beginning that he wasn't going to be any more than like 20 minutes, so I thought the time limit wouldn't even be an issue.
No worries,
but
man. No, I get it.
I'm pissed off at Zoom though, man, because I sold $20 worth of Bitcoin and dumped it onto my Cash App card and was trying to pay, and for whatever reason, it was telling me my transaction was declined. And it's crazy, man. But I appreciate you working with me.
It's since you mentioned it, I'm gonna talk about that because you want to know what grinds my gears? How much time we got to spend doing bullshit, jumping through financial institution hoops just to move money around in the modern American monetary system? It is fucked up. It's one of those things, when you put it like that. Excuse me. It's really easy to be like, well, we have money. Money works. We have the dollar is the dollar. And you know what this is like before you discover crypto, before you discover libertarianism and the concept of fiat currency as a racket. It's one of those things like the fish doesn't notice the water it's swimming in. The animals don't notice the air that they're breathing. We don't notice the monetary system being foisted on us and all the bullshit that we are swimming in when we don't have any awareness of an alternative. And as soon as you see that alternative, you go, holy shit, this system is fucked up. Not just because of the criminality and the ripoff, but like, how the hell as Americans do we not demand something more effective and efficient? At what point do we go, yeah, all of our like security nonsense and the extra strong passwords and phone security and verification with credit cards and debit, like it's all by government regulation. This is a government created system. This isn't a system where banks were able to go into the market and say, gee, I wonder what Americans need for monetary services or financial services or being able to move money around. I wonder what they need. How do we provide those services? How do we make it as easy as possible? No, it's not that. It's a government mandated system, top to bottom. There's not an element of anything that you just mentioned that isn't touched by, Zoom as a corporation that takes credit cards, your Cash App, even your crypto, every interaction where crypto, except when you do, in person for cash, every digital crypto interaction, right? Every digital crypto interaction with the U.S. dollar system, aside from cash, is tracked, is monitored, and is regulated. And then, you know, everything about your account, everything about the banks and fractional, this is a government mandated oligopoly of a banking system. And just like maybe what you're describing there, and I feel your pain, dude. I feel that frustration all the time. You know,
Well, the thing is,
feel,
I'm pretty much all in on crypto at this point, you know, like that's what I'm getting paid in for, like for my sponsorships and things like that. So I'm living off of crypto. I don't deal with dirty fiat. So whenever I need to pay a bill or to buy something, I just simply sell what I need at the time, because I can take advantage of those price rises and I don't have to keep that dirty fiat in my wallet in any capacity. And as soon as I sold the Bitcoin, it was available in my account. So I'm not really sure why I had the transaction decline, which that kind of pisses me off in and of itself, because it should have went through no problem.
Well, I'd love to see a statistical breakdown of the cost of stupid shit like that. And I don't know how you would how you would account for it. But if you did a survey of Americans, how much time did you spend in the last month dealing with financial headaches, as in procedural stuff, not, oh shit, I'm broke, which different problem, right? Although it is very much related.
Well, a lot of people now, because of having the lack of income and not getting that stimulus money right away, a lot of people's accounts are overdrawn. Because I've been hearing that once they're getting that stimulus money, what's happening is the banks are taking it upon themselves, and anything that's owed to the bank first is going to go to the bank.
Oh, of course. Surprise,
because they're looking out for us.
So if you just ask people, like, I mean, I'm thinking for myself, how would I answer this question? How many hours, because it would be in hours, you know, how many hours over the last month have I spent dealing with financial mechanism headaches? And it's at least 4 or 5 hours every month. 4 or 5 hours. That's probably typical for me. Just moving from campaign money to personal money to crypto to cash to gold to silver to Cash App to PayPal to trying to spend money on a specific thing that only takes it a certain way or requires a credit or a debit card, and not at the same time not wanting to put as much stake in the the dollar system as possible. I'm jealous of you, man. I wish I was set up more crypto oriented with all my personal finances. Unfortunately, with circumstances, I can't be. But I did create a new off-grid business. I don't know if you saw this, but Big Igloo Geodesics. Well, I showed you real quick, right? You saw you see in the shot all the domes behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I make those here.
Oh, okay.
Not just put them together. I make the kits. I make the parts. I make the struts, and it's a really cool thing I got from Ernie Hancock, freedomsphoenix.com. Who you should interview if you have. Have you ever interviewed Ernie Hancock?
Yeah.
He is a longtime party activist and media producer, done a lot of great stuff, had an amazing workshop. That's how I was able to get this equipment from him and a lot of other stuff. This is so crazy with the timing because of the anticipation element of this. Months ago, he started planning a vaccine awareness tour on the Love Bus and is now moving out of his home in Glendale, Arizona, packing everything up to go on a bus with his amazing wife, Donna. And we're getting all like the homestead stuff they're leaving behind because they were renting. They had to move everything out, or have to. We need to go down and do another trip to get some more gear. But to make these geodesic domes, it's so easy. And by the way, you know what I mean when I say Big Igloo, right?
I think so. No?
Oh man, now maybe I'm thinking like if Mr. Rice doesn't know what I'm referring, maybe I got to change the name. If of all people you don't get it right away, maybe I got to change the name of my business. No, you know what Big Igloo refers to at all?
I don't think I've heard this term like this. No.
Okay, it's from Boogaloo, the Boogaloo, which is originally from the Electric Boogaloo.
The movie or the song?
The song, do the Boogaloo. But no, this is a term that has been reclaimed in certain circles on the internet of libertarian activists to refer to the Civil War revolution that's coming. You know, get ready for the Boogaloo. Do you have enough MREs? Do you have enough guns? Do you have enough ammo? The Boogaloo is coming. Get ready. Yeah, it's Boogaloo time. And it's kind of a joke, right? You're looking it up now, Big Igloo, Boogaloo.
Yeah,
So what
I'm
happened
looking
is,
up Urban Dictionary, and it says
yes,
it's a deformation of the word boogaloo, an upcoming event where libertarian militias will take up arms to defend their rights against an authoritarian government and or the alphabet boys.
alphabet boys like FBI, CIA, NSA. You know,
Yeah.
I love it. We call them it's not. They're not the alphabet soup agency G-men anymore. They're just the alphabet boys. Yeah. Now this term obviously has a violent connotation, and it was extremely censored on social media. This is probably why you haven't heard of it. Is that anything? It was hashtag Boogaloo, right? And it was a tongue-in-cheek way of saying, oh yeah, you want to keep this tyranny going? We're getting ready for you, motherfuckers. You know, eventually this Cold War heats up. You can't just keep pushing us. And I think it's obviously, even from that definition, which is clearly trying to be more specific than it legitimately should be, right? Even with that, it's a very nebulous term. And to me, Big Igloo is so righteous as a way. Oh, you're going to censor Boogaloo? We're going to call it the Big Igloo then. Fuck you, you know. And it's just a brilliant way around this specific campaign of social media censorship to bury this idea, which is, it's not a serious. I mean, it's a very, very serious idea. But it's not like, all right, guys, we're going to use hashtag Boogaloo, and every day you got to be checking the hashtags, Dean. If you're not checking your hashtag, you don't get to be part of the revolution, and we're not going to give you any guns, and we're not going to. No, it's obviously, in that sense, it's not serious. It's a tongue-in-cheek social media campaign.
Okay.
And I kind of reclaimed it by saying, yeah, well, to me, the revolution is live free. The revolution is be self-sustaining, be off-grid, build your own home, build your own homestead. Get food independence, energy independence. Don't rely on corrupt, evil systems that are unreliable. And so, to me, calling it Big Igloo Geodesics, my business, which is very much based on my libertarian values, calling it that, you know,
That makes sense now.
Special meaning to me.
That makes sense. I appreciate you explaining it, man. I do. And so I kind of want to get back a little bit to ask some things in regards to the presidential run. I mean, because we had to deal with John and his time frame and all that. I wanted to ask you if you can kind of explain to, because I talked to Marcus the day that you guys had announced. He said he was waiting for me. He said he was waiting for my phone call.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because he knew it was going to happen. But and I'm glad that I got to do the first kind of discombobulated joint interview with you guys.
Campaign meeting.
But can you explain like exactly how this is working out for someone who's not aware of like what you guys are doing with Team in the Fed? Because it's a little complicated in a way. Yeah, no, and the premise is that we both back each other up on the message. And what as I said before, have a really unique appreciation about John for is how he lives the message, and in a way that I don't. Like I live it. We're both at, like, you know, of all the libertarians out there, if you wanted to rate us on how much do we live our values in the message, we're both, John and I, 99.9 percentile on that. But you know, he really is at a different level of just of the perfect. You know, he has a Zen detachment from bullshit about him. Whereas me, you know, he like you said earlier, you know, I can say whatever I want. I don't care how people respond. Well, I kind of do. I care. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth, but if I can tell it two ways, and one way is you freak out and you spaz out and you go and donate to the Republicans or Democrats, then I did it wrong, you know. But if I can tell it to you in a different way that's cool, calm, collected, and contagious that way, and reassuring, and gets you to go, okay, I can give up this you know, false life raft, this sinking lifeboat that I've been clinging to. Okay, I can swim over and be a part of, you know, the seasteading free society that you guys are working on. And you know, John is you know, I accused him the other day of having a platform just like mine. I was like, well, he's like, well, no, I don't have a platform. Like,
God damn it, he's that much more free than me. You know, like, and it really is. He can sell this and say, look, you know, I agree with Adam on every issue. There's no part of the federal government that should be kept. And if you know, and the way that he has endorsed my localization platform is really something that I've been anticipating. And I'm not surprised that he's the first. Well, no, he's not the first. I mean, Cynthia McKinney, you know, Green Party presidential nominee in 2000. I think we talked about this.
Yeah.
You know, she endorsed the platform, you know, very specifically as a matter of policy. And with John, I know that if he is my running mate, he's going to be a force multiplier in a lot of ways. He's going to be able to bring credibility to us as a ticket that I lack. I don't have the corporate experience. I don't have the financial experience. I don't have the cybersecurity experience. The fact that he brings all of those things to the table really makes him a perfect complement to me as the nominee. He does have two down, and I know this isn't to your question. I'll get to it. He does have two downsides, though, that I want to point out. And this one is that he's a 70-year-old white dude going up, and if he's the nominee, he's going up against.
He's 74.
Yeah, right. But he's going up. Yeah, right. He's going up against two other 70-plus-year-old white dudes with Trump and Biden. And I know it's dumb. It's really dumb. But if you can keep people from, you know, that first reactionary response from being just, oh, it's three 70-plus-year-old white dudes now. You know, I think for that, you know, as much as John is stronger than me as a candidate in a lot of ways, because of that, and because he's the other thing, he's on, you know, a self-imposed political exile, you know, in hiding, unless he is able to get the nomination and come back. Like, and I hope that if I'm the presidential nominee and he's the vice presidential nominee, that we'll find a way for him to come back to the United States in civil disobedience and possibly get arrested. This is, you know, this is my plan for everything. Well, we'll just get everybody arrested and then the problem goes away. Right? But if John can come back to the United States without getting arrested as the nominee, even better. And as that opportunity, you know, I'd say it's a weakness of his in a sense that the party might not want to put him at the top of the ticket because it's that liability. But if we have him as a vice presidential nominee supporting me or even somebody else at the top of the ticket, what he brings to the table in terms of his presence, his name ID, his communication skills, you know, unmatched in the field today. So you see the language that I'm using here is if we are running mates, because in the Libertarian Party, we have to run separately. And the delegates at the Libertarian National Convention, originally scheduled for May 21 in Austin, Texas, now might get pushed back to Vegas to piggyback on Freedom Fest in July, which is fun. I mean, we get more time to have these primary debates, and I'm okay with that. It'd be nice to have more time as the nominee, but hey, you know, I'll take the silver lining where I can get it. And so, in a sense, we are aspiring running mates would be the proper technical term if you wanted to use the words running mates, because we are requesting of the Libertarian Party that we be running mates, that we be nominated. And if I'm the
real quick, he's still technically running for president himself, but he's also running for vice president. And then the Libertarian Party, they elect who they want to represent the party on a presidential and a vice presidential level. And most of the times it ends up working out to being the people that want to work together. But the Libertarian Party could pick some other individual to run with you.
Right. And you know, the reason that I have not filed for the vice presidential nomination of the Libertarian Party, and I may at the last minute, and if John has a surge in support, although because he's been kept out of the process in so many ways, he hasn't been able to get traction. I think him and I would be closer to neck and neck and splitting the majority of the vote if he was able to run the campaign that he wanted to here in the U.S.
Right.
But as it is, I'm ahead of him in most polls by 3 or 4 times, and it's only those polls where most of the voters don't know that he's running, and it's really unfortunate that he's in that circumstance. But if my platform, as it is the only ethical platform, right? And I do want to give a shout out to 3 other candidates in this, specifically, John McAfee, of course, for having a similarly ethically principled platform. But there are 2 others that stand out for me, and they're Dan Taxation Steph Berman and Arvin Vorha, because they actually have, and I disagree with them on plenty of elements of their plan strategically, and I don't want, but I'm not going to get into all the problems with them. But I genuinely respect the fact that they're like, Dan is going to say, look, federal government can't collect any taxes by coercion. Whatever part of the federal government that exists that I'm going to be in charge of is going to be funded voluntarily. Okay, cool. Like, I could be Dan Berman's running mate. Arvin Vohra says, I'm going to be the pardoner in chief. No victim, no crime. Basically, any federal laws that don't have a victim aren't going to be enforced. And he's going to push the hell out of jury nullification down to the local level and make sure that no victim, no crime is part of the American consciousness. I could be Arvin Vohra's running mate. I could be John McAfee's running mate because he would essentially do what I'm suggesting do. And although I also think my plan, compared to John's lack of plan, provides for a more likely peaceful, responsible, orderly
Transition
outcome
to everything,
than what we might get with a President McAfee. Right.
Pure chaos.
But imagine I get elected on the platform of dissolving the federal government, and I have John McAfee backing me up in that with his experience, with his ability, and it's not just, oh, he's got this corporate experience. He ran a multi-million-dollar company, and so many other things around McAfee antivirus before he sold that out. Like you saw, even in our conversation earlier, he gave me the idea that this is more of an anti-Trump conspiracy than a government central planning conspiracy, and it makes a lot more sense. This is a power play between the factions rather than some new phenomena of government.
Since I didn't want to bring it up with John because of John's time limitations and stuff, but right now we're seeing that Donald Trump as a president has, from what I can understand, more power in the presidency than any other president has experienced. With all these different executive orders and stuff that are in place, with the fact that all 50 countries have now put in a state of emergency, I think that elevates his, in conjunction with these executive orders, I think that elevates his powers. There's a lot of talk, and I've been trying to stay very open-minded to all these different possibilities of things that could be going on. There's a lot of talk about Donald Trump, the QAnon camp, ending the Federal Reserve. I've been hearing a lot of talk about the Federal Reserve being absorbed by the Treasury based off these executive orders, that essentially Donald Trump is the Fed, like the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Right. But there's no factual evidence right now pointing towards this. And I've been speaking to like Anthony Pompliano, a lot of different economists, Max Kaiser, about these different subjects. And no one has evidence to point in this direction, but it definitely seems like Donald Trump is doing a lot to kind of buck the system. I'm not pro-Trump, but like where they're pushing for vaccines and he's pushing for cures, where he's pushing for the chloroquine, Q-chloroquine, which is right, a generic drug that the big pharma can't profit off of.
That would explain the backlash against him saying that.
He specifically, so he's doing some interesting things, and it's going to be interesting to see like where, like what he potentially is able to do. It seems like Fauci, for example, it seems like he's kind of playing along with the game, letting everybody bury themselves and then point.
It could be. No, there could be. And I wouldn't put it past Trump to, at the end of this episode, sort of pull the rug out from underneath his attackers and say, you tricked me, but I untricked myself and I caught you and now I'm exposing you to the... But this is like, I don't indulge in delusional childish fantasies because I'm not a delusional child. And to think that Donald Trump somehow really has this country's best interests at heart as opposed to his own is a silly, childish fantasy. And the whole QAnon thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Trump, if there's some real thing where he's feeding them. But it's this typical political, pathetic personality worship, where, well, I like this guy, I've committed to him. It's like being married to an abusive partner and constantly making excuses. I don't believe that there is more than a grain of truth to Trump is really a good guy. He's just going along with all the evil. Like, how long has it been now? Really?
No, dude, I mean,
Really?
I'm not saying I prescribe to
Yeah.
this. I'm saying I'm staying open-minded, though. I mean, I'm trying to, like, because this is, like, honestly a field day for conspiracy theorists. I mean, in all different directions.
Sure. Well, I want to say something, too, about the power that you said he's getting more powerful than any other president. And I don't disagree with your observations here in that, yes, he's taking on more power in this crisis. And you turned that into, maybe that's the Q thing. Maybe he's using it for good. No, absolutely not. In terms of taking on government power for bureaucrats, for the system, for government as a whole, for the banking class, for the $6 trillion of liquidity, et cetera, et cetera. For him coming out, I mean, he really is a bald-faced fascist now. I mean, if you want to say, like, he's really trying to do something good in behind the scenes, then why is he up front promoting, and I use these terms very specifically, very deliberately, why is he up front promoting socialism, fascism, and authoritarianism? And socialism, all the things that he supports of socialized security, medicine, defense, welfare, everything that he supported continuing, all the corporate welfare, obviously, that he has supported going on is socialism. What he has promoted in the coronaphobia crisis, an increase in collective ownership of various means of controlling production, distribution of goods and services, is furthering. So he's not decreasing socialism. Socialism has gone up under Trump. He has preserved all the major elements of socialism. Hold on. So fascism, the merging of corporations and state in the corona crisis, he said, we are going to buy companies. We're going to buy we're going to buy big chunks of stock and take charge of companies. He said specifically, some restaurants are going to close and they're going to come back, though, don't worry, just with different owners. Oh, really? You're going to use the crisis to steal people's businesses? Okay. And then authoritarianism. He came out and specifically said, the power of the presidency is absolute in a crisis like this. Like, no, it's not. But, now here's the big but in all of that. What is his actual power? Now, if you go to my historical view of power of government and you see that we are getting more peaceful over time, we are genuinely getting more free over time, even though governments get bigger as bureaucracies in terms of taxes and how much they control over our lives, we are living in the most peaceful times in human history, even though you are more likely, 50 times more likely, to be killed by a cop than by a terrorist in the United States. You are still relatively free. Historically, you are unprecedented in your freedom that you enjoy today. So while Donald Trump can do all of these things, and I'm not trying to diminish them, but stand by, I'm about to put them in irrefutable scale for you. You go back to just say Abraham Lincoln. The power to start a war among states that wanted to secede, the power to declare martial law without the accountability of the internet, the power to completely seize the media in that day and age, and to murder people in silence, to kill people without anybody ever knowing about it. That's what kind of power that Abraham Lincoln had during the Civil War. That's the kind of power that every major leader of every nation has had prior to the modern era of accountability with mainstream technology applied to media, with the internet, like with the violence that you could convince people to do on behalf of the state. The power that Trump has now, like even here, well, who's running the country? Trump doesn't run the country. He barely runs the government. He barely runs the executive branch, which is run, in a sense, run a lot more by bureaucrats, which is run really by the special interests and the string pullers behind the government. So no. Is Trump secretly trying to do good behind the scenes while doing all this evil in front of everybody and blowing up the size of government and the scale of socialism and fascism and tyranny in America? No fucking way.
Well, I mean, I definitely like the way you're putting it. And I mean, I talk about both ends of the spectrum, and there is definitely more evidence pointing towards the nationalism, the fascism aspect. I mean, you're seeing like Steve Mnuchin with the Treasury coming out saying that in order to lend money to these companies, that they would have to give partial stake in their companies to the government. We've seen that happen with Boeing, airline industries. So, I mean, there is a lot more evidence pointing into that. But I mean, as a as a journalist, I'm trying to keep as unbiased and try to keep an open mind, because I mean, we are in a very historical time of like no man's land, like a territory that we've never been in before or experienced. So it's a lot of things could just like, there could be a lot of different potential possibilities of things that could happen, basically.
It's an exciting time, and I'm glad. I have to go myself. I got my own show started here in less than an hour. I got a bunch of people I got to touch
Okay,
base
well, real
with
quick, man,
then.
before we wrap things up, was there anything that you wanted to say? Any closing messages?
Yeah, well, I mean, just as always, I think part of what we started this conversation with really underscores the point that what you, Mr. Rice, are able to do with this show, what I'm able to do with Adam versus the Man, is possible because we have active, engaged audiences. We have people who are willing to seek out better information, to be part of a more enlightened conversation. And I say this every chance I get, ending interviews, to say, if you like this, if you watch this, and I feel sorry for Anthony having to edit and all the random stuff together, and the meeting with me and John, and yeah, whatever you want to do with that, make it public. Yeah, that was fun. But it's because of people like you who are watching this right now that we are able to do what we do. So keep being that active, engaged audience. Share media that you find valuable. Support productions that you can't support their sponsors, like with this show. And my main website is thefreedomline.com. You can find Kokesh for President. You can find Big Igloo Geodesics. You can find the Garden of Freedom, where I live here at my homestead. And get involved. And I tell people this as an activist. If you don't know what to do, if you don't have a specific direction for yourself, I have plenty of shit for you to do. I can give you, send me an email. You want to give me some time? You want some more meaning in your life? I will give it to you, no questions. But in a bigger sense, what I'm asking people to do is to tap their own creativity, their own spiritual essence of serving humanity in the fight for freedom, and to do what you find most effective, most satisfying, and most compelling for you. And I'm honored that you're listening to me, that you're taking some time to get my input on this in your life, your short time that you enjoy in reality, in existence, as opposed to the non-existence post-death that we all must fear in some way. If we can make this a richer experience for everyone, I'm all about it. And I'm just honored that at that level of what we're doing, people are really engaged. So if you want to get engaged with anything that I'm doing specifically, whether it's living off grid or building domes or campaigning for president or making media or spreading the message of freedom, anything else, send me an email, adam@thefreedomline.com. As always, thank you so much for the opportunity, and peace and love, y'all.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate your time, brother.